In this video, we're going to explore how to add data labels on a chart in Chart.js 3. So this question was basically a viewer's question. So if I go here to one of my YouTube videos where I covered a specific topic, and then in here we had another question say, hi, how can I show the data labels on the chart? Well, let's start and explore exactly how we can do this. So the first thing we need to do here is have a default setup. Here you can see here, this is the default HTML code. Everything is in here, just basics. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going here, and this is my browser basically of the HTML file, which is completely blank. And what I'm going to do here, first of all, is well, we have to add up Chart.js. So I just quickly get the browser of Chart.js, and if you just click on here, get started. Go to chartjs.org, latest document, and right now Chart.js is on 3.3.2. That's the latest version, which is quite exciting. They're quite fast in developing it. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to copy this code here. You can see here, this is just the basic code we need, and we just copy everything here. And once we did that, we just paste it all in here. I'll give it a proper indentation so it will look suitable. Alright. And I'm putting in here some enters. And then what I want to do here later on is, well, we have to enclose this in a div to ensure that the width will be fixed. But what I wanted to get first is the link of Chart.js. Alright, so you can see here we have the JS deliver, and then you have here the file link. Get this, the JavaScript library for Chart.js. Put it here and make sure it is before your Chart.js information. Alright. What I'm going to do now is make a div. I'll give this a simple class of chartbox, and we will nest here the canvas. So what we're going to do here is we give here the class chartbox, and in this chartbox we give the following. We say here, I'll just put in a hard-coded width of 600 pixels. And maybe we can just give the body, to make it a little bit more fancy, just give the body a background color of slightly dark gray. So we say here 333. Alright, we save this. I will remove the width and height here. It's redundant because what we want to do is, and this is the main reason, Chart.js might extend into infinity if you don't put in a specific width or height. And the reason why width or height, because there's a ratio, there's an aspect to screen ratio, or they have a connection to one to the other, width and height ratio. Of course, you can remove that. I cover other videos for that. Alright, so now we're here. We have this nice dark screen. We have this nice div here. Beautiful. What I want to do here is I want to give the chart a bit of a padding so it will move away from the corner. So we did that. Okay, there you are. That looks beautiful. Very straightforward, very simple, nothing fancy. The default version. So now what we need to do is we need to go here, and we have here the Chart.js plugin data labels. So this one is already built in here, which is quite nice. It's easy to use. And you have different versions. I would say go for this 2.0, which is the version number 3. Alright, you click on get started, and here you will experience maybe some confusion, which I had as well. It's quite tough to understand. Well, not really quite tough to understand, because it's somehow counterintuitive with Chart.js version 3. So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Let's click here on getting started. Alright, so you're getting started here, and the first thing it shows here, it shows you a few items here. So let's get this one here, the 2.0, that's the latest version. And the reason why 2.0 is because it supports version Chart.js 3. To be honest, I tried also with 1.0. It supports as well version 3, but this is probably the more latest version that's really geared towards Chart.js version 3. So you see this link here, you say, okay, I just need to copy this. No, this is one of the confusions already. Don't get this one here, because this has no real file extension. You need to have something that looks like this with the ending of .js. If you do this, might be for npm, for package manager, then it would be fine, but in Node.js. However, if you're going to use hard-coded text, don't use that. Same here. It shows you here this. No, this is also not what you need. Yes, because we're missing an extension of like .js here to indicate that this is a file. Right now it doesn't see it's a file. This is the biggest, it was one of the biggest mistakes I had. So what you do is simply we go here to, you search in jsdeliver.com package manager. You can see here the version. This is the latest version, as you can see. Alright, so we get this, and then what we do is here, once we selected this version here, which is this one, of course, click here on copy to clipboard and get this one here, HTML plus SRI. Alright, so once we copy that, we will paste this piece of code here. Make sure that you paste it below, I repeat, below the Chart.js version. And the reason why is this is dependent on this here. So it has already codes expecting from here, or it uses commands from here, and of course this one will build upon that. Alright, so that's most important one to avoid any mistakes. So now we have this, and now if we refresh, nothing happens, of course. And the reason why nothing happens, well, let's read the documentation here. So we have this getting started. So we have now the integration. We integrated, but then it says here, well, first of all, it indicates your warning. Make sure that you load this after Chart.js library, which we did. And then once loaded, the plugin is available. Alright. However, what we need to do is to register the plugin. In other words, we register to activate the plugin, because by default it is not activated. And that's quite smart. For one reason is maybe you don't want to show everywhere data labels, but sometimes you might. So that's why they give you the option. Alright, so what we're going to do is we have to do basically this, and I would say go for this one here below, and here will come your next confusion. Alright, so it says here this one for everywhere. Well, I prefer this because you want to put it only, you want to pinpoint a specific chart. So what we're going to do is we can copy basically this part here. You see here the plugins and options. You see this here, the data labels. Alright. So we can just copy this, and we're already in the chart, so no need to do anything here. However, if you are very familiar with Chart.js, you have this one. So I'm going to put the text here down right now first. We have this here. So if you are very familiar with Chart.js 3, the latest version, or well, in Chart.js 3, they have adjusted certain items where they use plugins as a command. So for example, if you want to get the legend, you cannot get legend directly like this, or not even like this. Normally you are familiar with options, and then it will go to legend, and then you can say legend show. Same goes for tooltip, and another one goes for the title of the chart. So you're very familiar with that. However, maybe in this case you're not, or if you are familiar now, that was the Chart.js 2 version. The latest version works like this. We have options, then we have plugins, and then we have legend. So you might be very inclined to follow this structure with this, but here I am going to warn you, don't do this. Do not do that. You have the options, and what you have to do is you maintain it like in this structure as it shows here below. So you just say here, plugins, and then we indicate which plugin, specific plugin here, comma, and then we say here, options. Pinpoint the specific options, and then from here we can say color or a value, anything you want. Color blue. Of course, there's still more things I have to explore. However, these are the most important ones. You have the color, let's say black or white. See if this really works. We can save this, but what we do know is we will get the values of the item here. So let's save that. Once we save this, go back here, refresh. Oh, let's see what's going on here. Unexpected identifier, and the reason why is simply this. Sorry, when we use the options here, we need to put in a comma, and then we are allowed to continue on because there's a continuation. Comma indicates that there's another value coming afterwards. So once we have that, oh, white is not defined, of course. String, sorry. Make sure it's a string. And then there you are. So now you have this one here, and I'm not really certain if this is white or if there's a certain color. Of course, I will explore this more, but this is really the core or the basics here. So when you have this, we can even adjust this to line. And then we get all the data labels. Although it's very hard here still to see. However, we will figure out later on, and I will make some other videos on how we can do that one. Most important one right now is to activate the data labels, and from there on you can start to play around with every value, and you can start to reposition it and adjust it. I will make some more videos on this series just to cover this topic. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you enjoy this video, you probably will enjoy this one as well. And if you're interested in Chart.js, check out in the description box the link directing to my Chart.js course where you can learn everything about Chart.js. And finally, of course, make sure you subscribe to my channel.